days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss because he was a whistleblower, and he was the whistleblower and the key to all of this Jeffrey Epstein uh, trafficking pipeline to John of God, all the way to John of God. Don't forget, Patrick Crucius's father was a John of God disciple, or trained underneath the John of God disciples, and this connects to the Walmart mass shooting case, which that is Richard whistleblowing on that and having knowledge about that is what they took his life for. They forcibly removed him from his barracks room, and they took him down to the basement room, um, which was renovated at no expense spared by an illegal order by Major General James Eisenhower, to tamper with the crime scene, right? To tamper with evidence, to erase evidence, and they did it with no consideration to Army protocol. So many violations. That one crime leads to the next crime, right? One crime leads to the next crime, and then they stole Richard's body off of Fort Bliss, and they trafficked him to uh, Mexico, and all evidence indicates that his body, the dismembered body, because evidence indicates his organs were harvested, and disposed of then at the narco crematorium called Plenitude, so which the owners live in El Paso. They live in El Paso. They're the funeral home business. So we've been reporting on this, um, and then of course we got so much retaliation that we put in our case, and we were assigned Gustavo Sanchez, the Texas Ranger, and of course he is the relative of Nadal Bayim, close relative to Nadal Bayim, and to Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. So there's a network there that have evil cartel, the El Paso Mormon faction cartel that infiltrated into our military, into our law enforcement, into the DPS, into the judicial system, even on base. And yeah, and we have been telling everyone that the DPS is a huge danger to public safety. They need to be defunded, and I'm not one to defund law enforcement. I like the police. I like the sheriffs. We need to support them. Are they crooked? Are they? Yeah, they are. They are. But we need them, and we need to clean it up. But the DPS, they're just, oh my gosh, that's just a used and abused. Um, uh, what are they, what are they? We have the FBI. We don't need the DPS, right? We don't need them. We really don't need them, and we sure don't need them if they're a danger to public safety, and they absolutely are. And so, let's see, I'm on here now. We really don't. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on so late. I know it's always so late, but just can't be helped. Lots of breaking news, lots of breaking news today. Just still going through all the files. There's millions of files with the Jeffrey Epstein, and we've discovered one. And let me see if I can put it up. Uh, am I going too fast? Because there's so much stuff I want to cover. Maybe I'm going too fast. because I did want to talk about Nadal Baim, but I can't help it. I just want to tell everybody what we found, because it's such huge news. Isn't it huge news that Jeffrey Epstein, as a convicted child predator, was not required to register as a sex offender in New Mexico? Uh, are you are you kidding me? Are you kidding? This kind of reminds me of the Arliano Caron family, the Purchase Arliano Caron family. They seem to have businesses. They don't need to have a permit. They don't need to have a registration. They don't need to have. And here you have a convicted child predator, and DPS and the New Mexico DPS and New Mexico AG didn't require him to register as a sex offender. Who gets away with that? Who gets away with that? Is Jeffrey Epstein like above the law or something? I mean, now the problem is, now that this has come out, right? This tells you something. New Mexico is liable. New Mexico is liable. And this whole trafficking that he did in 2012, this happened in 2012, which is really interesting because who was governor at the time? Um, and this is really important, because the governor at the time was really good friends with Cesar Duarte. That's when Cesar Duarte put his ranch right beside Zorro Ranch. So I'm trying to find my notes, because I think that's so important. Oh, goodness, did I not even copy it over here? But um, the it's just interesting that that's when Cesar Duarte, because that is then the Chihuahuan connection with all of this. And this is, I told you our lawsuits are going to be epic. They're going to be epic because New Mexico is absolutely liable for all of the crimes after 2012. I mean, can you believe it? I just look at this. May 21st, 2012, he does not have to register as a sex offender. So he could not be around children. He could not. Gosh, it's just so New Mexico is in really big trouble. Good. And New Mexico DPS is just like Texas DPS. So that corroborates what we have been saying, what we have experienced these 5 years, that DPS is infiltrated by the cartel and they are up to no good. And they're costing taxpayers so much money. And they are absolutely, they're not the Texas DPS, they're the cartel DPS, okay? Or the cartel protection racket. That's what they should be called, the the CPR, the Texas protection racket, the cartel protection racket. That's what they are. Um, and, I mean, they're just covering up every which way or having frisky business, being with a honey pot, with a honey trap. Yeah, this corroborates, that's why I had to tell you this as soon as I got on, because it is just so bombshell. It is so eh, and please share it. Please share it everywhere that the DPS and the AG in New Mexico, under this governor, it's a female governor. Gosh, I know her name and I wrote it down, and it's just so late. It's just so late. But I know she's good friends with Cesar Duarte. and got really good friends, really good friend. And that's when he got his ranch right beside Zorro Ranch. And don't forget about William Sanders, Beto O'Rourke's father-in-law. And don't forget about Santa Fe, where all of this is happening. We told you that this is a connection with the Obamas. This is a connection with the Pritzkers, with um, with Epstein. And, this whole thing with what's going over in Arizona, which we know they were absolutely uh, so many crimes over there, so many crimes in Arizona against children. Okay. So many, so many. That doesn't happen like normally, with all of the money that we put into our um, uh, police forces, for our judicial system. We give them so much money. That should not be, everybody that even thinks about doing something bad to a child needs to be shaking in their boots, thrown out of the country. They need to be shaking in fear with the amount of money that we put in to the system to keep us safe, right? To keep us safe, quote unquote, to, fight crime, quote unquote. And yet we have it off the charts. We have an entire pipeline, the Jeffrey Epstein, John of God pipeline, coming through New Mexico, coming through, of course, El Paso when you look at the map. And, you know, and going right up to that Otovor, right, beacon that lands your plane right there by Zorro Ranch, right there by William Sanders Ranch, Beto O'Rourke, right there by Cesar Duarte's ranch, right there by Santa Fe, which something is going on in Santa Fe, y'all. Something was going on in Santa Fe because they gave Jeffrey Epstein a pass. They gave Jeffrey Epstein a pass. So, what is going on there when it comes to children? What is going on in Sunland Park when it comes to children? Because it's up to no good. And what is going on in Arizona around Fort Huachuca against children? And it's so bad that Erika Kirk feels like when she was Erika Frantzve, that she had to go all the way to China, that she had to go all the way to Romania to help people that have been sex trafficked and to help children in orphanages. Are you kidding me? Are, and all of a sudden, Jeffrey Epstein has Romanian women in New Mexico, and how old are they? How old are they? Because it seemed, gosh, some of these posts, they need to be investigated because when we put all the posts together from there is a lot of child trafficking, a lot. And with all the money that we spend on law enforcement and judicial, none of that should be happening. Our border should be so tight and, and scrutinized. Let people in, let people out, let people in, but let people out. But it needs. We spend so much money on having our border scrutinized. And let me tell you, if one of the workers got corrupted or whatever, they need to be on them like so fast in jail or just relieved or, you know, because we give them enough money to do that. We do. We absolutely do. So, seriously, wearing a MAGA hat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't let anyone take over a symbol for me. And absolutely, I'm an American, and President Trump is the president of the United States, and he just had in Peru 2.4 tons of cocaine seized on a ship, and is going after Ecuador, which was getting it at the source, getting it out the source, shutting off this pipeline, shutting off the money, shutting off the cartels, shutting off the cocaine itself. And today I saw, and I haven't posted about it yet, about the the drug that begins with the letter F. That was a near a ton, I think, 2,000 pounds, near a ton of this deadly, very deadly substance where you only need a little bit to die. And and there's been people that I'm totally aware of that have died of this. So yeah, I am absolutely wearing the hat, seriously wearing the hat. And yeah, absolutely going after the infiltration of really Mexico. He's saving Mexico while he's doing this, Mexico, and giving them a chance anyway to save themselves, getting their sovereignty back by taking El Mencho down, by taking El Chapo down, by taking El Mayo down. Um, yeah, exposing all of this, exposing. He's the one that had President Trump is the one that had Jeffrey Epstein even arrested, because DPS and the AG in New Mexico wouldn't even put him, make him register as a sex offender. Can you believe it? It's mind boggling. So, let's let all these children be, they're liable now. New Mexico is liable. That's very, very clear. So, yeah, let's go back down to, I think that was my latest one. Yeah. Um, and of course, this is, this is so important here, yeah, because this letter, that Leilani Hart, wrote, and she goes by several names. Did I put it in here? She goes by so many names, y'all. Um, and of course, she admits that her then husband, of course, all these people are getting divorced because of the cases, right? You have Nadal Baim divorce, you have Leilani Hart divorce, and then they changed their name. She changed her name. They're all trying to protect themselves from all these lawsuits that are going to be epic, epic, and they're coming. Um, so Leilani Hart here admits of her husband's um, fraud within the VA's office, the IDES Pueblo, access to service members, unlawful access to service members' files, and quid pro quo for military veteran benefits, right? And also using it to weaponize against those that don't want to go along with your criminal trafficking network that was on Fort Bliss that had infiltrated the VA's office. Okay, not only in our ranks, but in the VA's office. So we know that it went all the way up. We know that it went all the way up. We know that Sean Bernabe is totally a traitor. We know that Bradford Bugado is a total traitor. I mean, that is a lieutenant colonel and a three-star general. I mean, we know that Donna Martin, the provost marshal, the head of the CID for the Army, totally dirty, totally dirty. Okay. So, yeah, to see that they would go into the VA's office and to manipulate veterans' benefits, it's a very big deal. It's a very big deal. And Lilani confessed to it. She wrote it down. She absolutely confessed to it. And she is the mother of the prime suspect of taking her son's life, Dallas Hart, right there. So, yeah. And then, of course, we have a really big, it's really big. And let's see if I can turn this on and, and you guys can listen to it. Let's see.
What's it going?
That right there is the flyer of Richard.
What's it going? Right, yeah, he's looking at it, yeah.
This is the Dolby. And this is just a clip of the video that we have. We have the CCTV footage of the whole thing. And these are just clips to protect the people that were in the store. But we turned over the whole kit and caboodle on October 26, 2020 to the CID, to the FBI, to the command there. And they just said, oh, he's just some guy. He's not important. He's just some guy. He's not important. And he's the one that absolutely said that Richard was dead. That Richard was dead, and that the FBI were looking in numerous places for his remains because he was dismembered. And we went and had all that corroborated the following days with other different officials, and then we knew. No, we knew. That's how we found out. Yeah, he's looking at it. Yeah. I mean, we knew that our son had lost his life. But that was the official. That's how we got. That's how we got informed. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? This is what happens when the cartel take over your military. And this is the El Paso Mormon faction cartel, okay? The philanthropists, the Mormon faction, El Paso cartel, yeah. And, so when you're a philanthropist, or when you're like, it's kind of weird and I'm bringing in Erika Kirk again, because she's such a good example of all the deception, right? Because she's, like, oh, well, I have to go to work now. I have to go to work. I'm the sole provider. And it's like, what are you talking about? Everybody gave you millions of dollars. They won't give, send, go. They gave you millions of dollars. Yeah, he's looking at it, yeah. You got a wage. You got millions of dollars that people donated to just your family, just to you. The deception is, they are just so, gosh, they're such liars. I don't know how else to say it. They're just such liars. And that confirms how dirty Fort Huachuca is to me. Because, of course, all the other reasons, her mother being there, Jeffrey Epstein's pilot's daughter being in the military, in the army, stationed at Fort Huachuca. Of all places, she's stationed at Fort Huachuca and gets top secret clearance. Are you kidding me? Right? So this is, I guess it was very silent, but that is exactly. What's it going? Yeah, he's looking at it, yeah. And telling the cashier to take down the flyers. Take down the flyers and be quiet. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody what I just told you. And he is connected. He's connected. He has terroristic threats, a record of terroristic threats. He's, of course, family member to Gustavo Sanchez and even Manny Chavira, who had to retire, and of course Manny Chavira, A&R Auto, right? Targeted Richard. So they all work together, and I'm sure they all work with the people from Purchase Arellano Perron's family. I mean, they're in the same circles, literally they're in the same circles. And yeah, they all work, they are all part of this pipeline and this protection racket for the pipeline. Yeah, he's looking at it, yeah. The criminal trafficking. So that is really that is just been an explosive day. Of course, I had a question by a follower that said, do you think it's too late? And I'm like, no, no, it's not too late because God already won. God already won. So it's all going to work out. And I just want to give those words of hope because so many things that we talk about is so negative, but we're making great strides. And at when the lawsuits get filed, it'll really clarify a lot of things for people, clarify a lot of things. So that is really um, today is pretty easy going. A lot of background noise. Oh, I'm sorry. I have that on. I shouldn't have put that on. Thank you. I should have looked. This is so tricky to do all this by yourself, this whole board and um, live stream to different platforms, but it's so worth it because it's so important. And we just appreciate all the sharing to get this out there because we are shadow banned. Even though we've had millions of views lately because they can't shadow ban you completely. But yeah, we are very shadow banned. So get out the information, get out the news, and um, and thank you so much for sharing all the information with us and the chats and everything. We really appreciate it because we need justice for Richard. Justice for Richard because he is the key. It's justice for all of these victims from the criminal trafficking to the barracks, the soldiers in the barracks that were just so targeted by this evil group to silence. And even like in the VA, IDS payable benefits, right? That they were targeted. So, yeah, to get justice for Richard, to get his remains returned home, is getting justice for so many other people, and yeah, so we're working very hard behind the scenes to make it happen. Say a prayer and thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back. Do people that are part of the program, illegal cartels behind the stocking breaking, etc. Um, I don't understand, but yeah, it's the El Paso Mormon faction cartel in alliance with the Mexican cartel. Okay, and in alliance with China and Iran, and that has been made very clear with El Mencho's logbooks. And don't forget that over 100 cartel leaders have been extradited. These are people that are financial assets in their cartels, and they're singing for President Trump. And we've heard that there's a lot of those that are absolutely speaking out now. Yeah, they're, uh, the cartel is crumbling, and that is such good news because they've done so much damage for so long. So thank you so much. God bless you. And